Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Kev's Hobby Showcase. I'm Kevin, and you may have seen me before on Tabletop Jones Productions presents 2 Dates Playing Board Games with my friend John. And in regards to that, this video is going to be priming and painting for Marvel Crisis Protocol, the box set of Bishop and Nightcrawler. So let's just get right to it. Like I said, I haven't primed these yet. Some of the other videos you see that I've already had stuff primed because I basically did it before I started making videos. But now when I put pieces together, I wait until I can record everything. So here we have the piece Bishop. Those of you who follow the Marvel Comics and even the X-Men animated series, which is on Disney Plus right now, is very good. I actually watched it. I watched the original 5 seasons earlier, back in the 90s, and I loved it back then. And they really did a good job on the new one. But anyway, he's our time traveling mutant from the future, where basically it's like the doomsday scenario from Days of Future Past, where like most of the well-known mutants are dead and gone. And so you got Bishop. So you got Bishop there, and here is Nightcrawler. They gave a couple of options for Nightcrawler. I chose to use the swords because, well, in the comics, he's our swashbuckling mutant, right? Our swashbuckling mutant teleporter. So, and they decided to get a little cute, as you can see down here on the base. What does it say? Well, it says every time that he teleports in the comics, and they write in Beth. Yep. They decided to get a little cute, just like they did with, for those of you who do have this game and you have a lot of the pieces, if you have the Deadpool piece, they have him basically at the edge of like a bomb missile type thing where it says whoosh. Yeah, that was a lot of fun to paint, right? All right, so we're going to get, first we're going to do the priming, and then we'll get started on the base coats. So stay tuned, and we will come back with the priming first. All right. Okay, so we're back, and we're going to be priming our Bishop and Nightcrawler pieces. We're doing this outside, as I said. If I do it inside, the whole house smells like primer, and that's just damn nasty. So now I've pretty much figured out which way the wind is blowing, so this stuff doesn't blow back in my face. It's blowing that way, so we're going to hold it out here and let everything flow that way. So you don't need to do too much. Short bursts. Just make sure you get all the piece. You don't even need to do it that long. Now let me bring it in close. Now it looks like it's bubbling up. That's not a problem, because once it settles in, as you'll see when we start painting, everything's going to settle in nice, and it's going to look like it's just a natural part of the piece. So that was Bishop. Let's do Nightcrawler. As you can see, Nightcrawler is a bit smaller, so it shouldn't need as much. Oh, wind shifted, blew it right back at me. So let's just move a little bit out. Okay. Always give a nice look to see, make sure he didn't miss any parts to it. As you can see, actually wait, I missed one little bit. Okay. So again, as you can see, it looks like it's just like bubbled up on there, but it's going to settle in. It's going to look really nice. So we're going to let that dry. We're going to let that set, and then next we start painting, basically the base coats, and then we go from there. Okay, welcome back. We are painting from Marvel, from Marvel Crisis Protocol, the set of Bishop and Nightcrawler. The primer is all dry and it's settled in quite nicely. Just hold it up. So as you can see that it doesn't look like it's just one big blob of primer. It actually is settled into the pieces. Piece pretty nice. That was Bishop. This is of course Nightcrawler. Sorry. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to start on the base coat. It's going to be, a little bit different. It's like when I was painting the Sentinels, because it was so big, the base coat was different. You could just slather a lot of it on and, not have to worry about what's going over it. But with these, you got to, take into account of what you're going to be doing, with the colors. So sometimes what I like to do is I do like to put down a base coat and then put paint over it, but also if it's a dark color going down first and a light color going on after that, it actually does. Sometimes the light colors show up a lot better when they're going over a darker color. So, I find that it does, that it actually, shows up better. Everybody has a different opinion, so I would always say, experiment, because you could always paint over it. Okay, so let's just get to it. So I'm going to put on my nice little nifty device I got here. All right, let's get it. First, let's get this down towards my work area. All right, and I've been noticing in other videos that when I put the light on too intense, it tends to make everything blurry, so I'm going to try not to do that. All right, we're going to start with the blue, and we're going to start with Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler is going to be somewhat easier than Bishop, because, Nightcrawler is mostly blue with, just a little bit of variation of color with the costume. And it's going to be, the costume's going to be red, so the red will actually show up pretty good on top of blue. As long as you let the colors dry, it's all going to look good. But with the blue, we can just go over all of Nightcrawler's body. So, and, like I said, with the smaller pieces, that it doesn't take as long to do a lot of this, because there's a lot less area to go over. And it does look like it's going on a bit thin, so let's get from the actual bottle and see if we can get it to show up a bit better. And even sometimes with the paint, it looks like when you press, when you're first putting it on, it looks like it's just big. Sometimes it might look like it's just a big blob of color, but once the paint settles in, usually settles in pretty nicely, as long as you don't use too much. Now I'm covering all of Nightcrawler's body here, but a lot of it we are going to go over, because the costume, and maybe I'll show the box in a little bit. Probably should have shown the box right away, like I did the last time I was painting some of these characters. But I didn't do that this time, unfortunately. But anyway, you'll see from the box, or if you even remember from reading the comics, Nightcrawler's costume is not only red, but also has areas of white. Usually, I think it's from the hands and the feet, which is basically like gloves and boots. Any odd noises you hear, just realize I have my door open to let the air in. Alright, so that's filling in a bit nice. So now we're going to go to Bishop, and Bishop's going to be a bit different, because with him, you got blue from the costume, but it's got like this scarf-like thing that goes over, right over here. So I'm going to try not to get that initially. If I get some on, it's no big deal, but I'm trying not to. Just because sometimes, when you want to move forward, you gotta wait for paint to dry. It can get a little, a little annoying. And now for Bishop, when we get to the skin tone, it's going to be different, because, like I've said, not everybody has the same skin tones. So the character Bishop is indeed a black man. So instead of using the paint that's called flesh, we're going to be using a brown color that I've used before for characters that are black, black skinned, and it usually shows up very, very nicely. All right, filling all in, filling all in.
I'm wondering how many of you out there listening to me drone on and on. If it's like if you're watching Bob Ross, I mean, I know his voice is probably 1,000 times more relaxing than mine is. Because, you know, I mean, I could never paint like that, man, but I tell you, I used to love to watch his show. I think my sister was the same. Well, one of my sisters, I should say. I got two. So, yeah, she used to watch his show when she needed to take a nap. Not because she thought he was boring, but because his voice was just so relaxing that it was just so easy to fall asleep while listening to him talk. Let's get everything now. I'm going to try this time. This is like an X on this belt. I'm going to try to get that to stand out later. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to try. And, you know, some of these other X-Men characters, I've tried to do that, and some came out okay, but most of them, I have to admit, I didn't really succeed in making it come out okay. Alright, so here we go. So we got the base coat of blue down for Bishop. We got the base coat of blue down for Nightcrawler. Now, we are going to have to let this dry before I do anything else. So, let's see how Bishop, because actually, if I'm going to go do the skin tone, I'm going to have to go over some blue paint. I could see it. Alright, so we are going to take a break and let all that dry. Let me just clean my brush for a sec. Okay, well, it's all good. Oh, yeah. Okay, so, alright, so we started the base coat, and as some, it's just a fact of the way paint is, you got to let it dry before you can do more sometimes. So we're going to let it dry, and when we come back, we're going to finish. Pretty much the little bit here and there for the for these characters before we get into like fine detailing. So Nightcrawler, we're gonna do mostly the costume and basically the whole Banff cloud that he's on top of. And for Bishop, we're going to get the skin tone. We're going to get little other bits of the costume where we're not totally going over the blue paint, and it's going to look good. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, we've given the blue some time to dry, and we're going to start with some other colors now. I'm going to actually, well, first let me show, because as you can see, Nightcrawler has got like a lot of red and white when it comes to the costume. And he's sitting on, for those of you who know from the comics, when he teleports, he makes this big cloud and it says Banff. Well, that's what we got here. I'm actually going to do that first in purple because it looks like a purplish color, of course. And I got something that's labeled smoke, which is basically like a watered down black. So we're going to put that on, and we'll see if we can get it to look as cool as that. And of course with Bishop, there we go. You got yellow on the costume. You got like a red on the scarf here, and and then but of course what we're going to do first before we do all of that is we're going to take care of the skin tone, which I'm going to do right now. All right, so set this down into the work area. Okay, let me get this ready to go. Okay. All right. So, let me get a nice brush here. Okay. Alright, so I'm not even going to worry about painting where the hair is because we're going to go over that in black. So let's just get brown all in here. Okay. Yeah. And then I'm going to have to make a decision as to what to do about the gun that he has on his back. I'm not entirely certain how I want to do that just yet. Alright.
we get his arms. I think he's got, they show him with gloves. I'm going to get that later. Alright. Okay. There we go. Just filling in pretty good. Let's get his other arm. Yeah. This little thing around his fist, this of course is supposed to be the blast that he shoots out of his body whenever he takes a physical hit. That's his power. Turns kinetic energy into, well, I guess into energy. I don't know what else to call it. And then he just shoots that back at whoever shot him, or whoever attacked him, I should say. All right. Okay, so we got that. All right, so we got that, and we're done with the brown for now. All right, let's scooch on over to Nightcrawler here, and we're going to start painting that Nightcrawler's costume. So first color I'm going to, well, actually, you can see here I got to do touch-ups on the blue. All right, but I can get that later. For right now, I want to start doing some of the extra colors. So I'm going to do red first. Okay, and get a good paintbrush for that. All right. Now, here we go. Now, this piece they gave you a bunch of different options to do when putting the piece together with his arms. Because I don't know if you saw it when I showed the box. They don't show him holding swords. But I always remember him mostly from the comics as like the swashbuckling mutant. So I decided to use both the arms that had swords. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, so we'll get the swords a good metallic color later. In fact, I could probably get that one last. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know how good this is showing up on the camera right now, but I'm starting to wipe off paint. All right, that might be, that's a sign that I should stop. All right, so we got that started. Not going to go with the white just yet. What I am going to do is paint everything that's below him. So let me take out my purple. I'll just put the red away before I start using purple. Let's put that aside. Let's do that so I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So let's get the purple here, and let's get everything that he is on top of right now. Now, it just actually just the other day, I just finished reading all the comics associated with what's now being called the Krakoan Age of the X-Men. I mean, for those of you who haven't been reading, I mean, I'm not going to say shame on you. Everybody has their own preferences, but you know, just I mean, not to give too many spoilers. I mean, I only get to get my comics once a month now because of personal reasons. So, this probably could have been done a while, and I just didn't even realize it. But anyway, like I said, I just finished reading what basically is the end of the Krakoan Age. For those of you who don't know what Krakoa is, it is basically a mutant island that all the mutants in the Marvel Comics universe were calling home. And I have to admit, I liked the idea of that. I figured they'd, in the Marvel Comics hierarchy, they always seem to be, the mutants always seem to be the most downtrodden. The whole bit of hated and feared. Everybody always seemed to be against them. But then, of course, couldn't leave well enough alone. I mean, I guess they couldn't leave them alone for too long. It'd probably be bad writing. But anyway, they encounter an enemy that destroyed everything. So now they're starting a new era. Going to be restarting a lot of the well, not a lot, but restarting some of the titles. But they pretty much brought everything to a close. And I'm not going to ruin it for those who haven't had the chance to read any of it. But I'm just going to say that it does give kind of like a definite ending to the whole era of the X-Men. So that's, in a way, that's good. It did kind of bring some sort of closure, where you're not going to continually wonder, well, what's next? What happens? What happens next? Because they pretty much took care of that. All right, so it's filling in nicely with the purple, and so the word BAMF that's in there, I'm going to probably do something else with that to make it stand out more. I'm not sure what color I'm going to use. I might use red. I don't know yet. But I definitely have, like I said, that smoke color that will, well, may or may not show up good, because I know the purple is pretty dark, but we'll see how it all works out. Now let's see, what else could we do right now? Well, I know something else we can do. Take the red back out, and we're going to get that scarf that's around Bishop. Okay, so here we go. And actually, the day I'm doing this is the day before Father's Day. So any of you out there who are dads, happy Father's Day. Any of you out there whose father is still alive, please treat him nicely. And always have a good day. Us fathers aren't that hard to please. All right, we got that. Now I'm gonna come back with yellow. Let's pick a big brush for that. This should do. Let's put the red away again. Alright. Okay. Alright. Now, give a quick look at the box so I know where I'm putting yellow on Bishop. Alright. Okay. Alright. See if I can get this. Ooh. Alright. Okay, here we can trying to just lightly put this on so this way it doesn't just totally overtake everything. I'm gonna get around his shoulders here. Alright. Looks like underneath in the armpit that blue didn't totally dry. Alright, let's wipe that off because I don't want the blue mixing in with my yellow and then all of a sudden I have a whole jar of green. Alright, let's get the other shoulder. Alright, so basically you can see I'm bracing my hand because Bishop has a nice size base, so I was bracing my hand against the base to keep my hand steady. Alright. And see, again with my fingers, that's how I keep my hand steady. The majority of the time at least. Alright, so this is actually working out also as like detailing. Because it's all this little stuff that shows up. Okay. But we're still going to make it look good. I mean, as you can see, this is the yellow on the blue is standing out a lot better than the red on the blue. But Nightcrawler is still going to look good. Alright. And when I get to the wash, I just got to realize I don't need that much. I do unfortunately tend to have a heavy hand when it comes to that armor wash. And I keep calling it armor wash, even though the pieces I'm painting do not have armor. So maybe I should just call it wash. Gotta sometimes train yourself to word things differently. Alright, so yeah, it's coming in nicely. Just consult the box. Alright. Well. Alright, it may not look exactly like it does on the box, but that's okay. I mean, I'm doing the best I can, and that's all anyone could ever do, is just do the best they can. Alright, so I'm going to take the purple, no, do I need the purple? Yeah, I'm going to take the purple back out, and I'm going to get this part here, you know, the nice energy blast thing, I'm going to get that in purple. So let me clean this before I put it back. Alright, and let me, well, let's put the yellow away. Okay, there we go. It's a decent brush. Okay. And here we go. Let's get this looking purple. And maybe one of these days I'll get some different shades of purple to match some of these energy looking pieces that they tend to make with these types of minis. Alright. So anyway, getting back to Father's Day. I mean, unfortunately, my father has long since passed away. But I do remember him every Father's Day. In fact, this used to be, what my routine used to be, was I would go in the morning on Father's Day to the cemetery to visit his grave. And back then, my favorite comic shop was still open, and they had a deal that when you go in there, you got like a special discount if you brought proof that you were a father, and what better proof than to bring your children with you. So I used to go out, you know, me, the kids, and my ex. Of course, I was still married at the time, and we'd go visit, go visit my dad's grave. I'd be the one usually getting out and going over to the actual site. It's just what I wanted to do. To try to honor him, because me and my father were very close. And then when we were done over there, I'd spend a good amount of time there, not overly too much. Try to tell kids stories about him. And then we would go to the comic store, and I would grab my books and maybe get a few extras. Of course, I'd have my kids there, which is the proof I was a dad. And they used to, my kids used to like to come with me to that place. They enjoyed it too. All right, so we got that. Now, so like on the box, it shows that he's wearing gloves. It does show him wearing like blue gloves, which I do have to get that, but I'm not going to get that yet. So let all this dry. And with Bishop, I think we're still going to work on him for right now. Let's get these guns looking like guns. Alright, so let me take a quick look as to what we got here. Alright, so I'm going to get myself a nice metal color. And what better color than titanium silver? Because I got two guns on Bishop to paint. I got the one he's holding and the one on his back. So, got myself a good brush here. Alright. So let's just get this looking like metal now. A little too much on the brush just now. Alright, let's get this here. Now, anyway, any of you out there, I do hope that you're close to your dads. Because maybe because I have a biased opinion on it, because I always felt like I had a really good dad. I always feel bad for people when they say that they didn't have a good relationship with their fathers. Because, I did, and I felt like it was one of the things that really positively impacted me in my life. In fact, even from when I was a teenager, I always wanted to be a father myself. And, but the only thing was I was not in a hurry, so I didn't want to become a father before I was ready. So I made sure I didn't. Well, somewhat, I guess. I guess you could say that. Also, ladies who didn't want to be with me kind of helped me to that distinction as well. All right, well, so if I may interrupt myself. All right, so that color came in a little bit thick, but it's going to settle. So we're just going to let that settle in. All right, so we're going to leave that like that. Now let's see. You know what? While we have out the metal, let's get those swords. I kind of wish I didn't clean the brush, but anyway. So anyway, you know, like I said, even from a young age, I knew I wanted to be a father, and I always felt it was because I had such a great role model in that aspect. The only thing that I kind of wish had happened was that my dad lived long enough to see me become a father. Because unfortunately, when my ex-wife was pregnant with our first, my father was very sick. We found out he had cancer, and he basically passed away a little over a month before my daughter was born. So yeah, but you know, he's watching from heaven, I'm sure. He's enjoying them in any way he can from the afterlife. All right, so there we go. This color does come in a bit thick, so I'm just going to have to deal with it for now because I really don't feel like rubbing it off and redoing it. So what I'm going to do before I take a break is I'm going to touch up that blue on Nightcrawler. I'm going to do that now. And I'm telling you, it's like the only reason I'm doing that now is because every time I look at it, it's actually bothering me. Yeah, I don't really think I have OCD, but just that little bit was bothering me because I knew I rubbed it off because I went over it more times than I should have. And there you go. Just one. Whoops. Thank God it didn't fall apart. So yeah, just one little stroke of the brush, and we filled that back in. All right, so gonna take a little break and let all this paint dry because when we come back, let's see what have we got. We got to put in the hair colors for both of them. You know, maybe put in a little bit of black on Nightcrawler. Let's tilt this back up. Okay. So like I said, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to do the hair color on Bishop. We're going to do the white that has to go on Nightcrawler's costume, and you know, then we're gonna do basically what they're glued to, for the base. We're going to get the bases done, and then we'll get to the wash. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after everything dries. Okay, so we've given the paint some time to dry, and we're ready to continue. So I'm going to start first with Nightcrawler. We're going to use the white paint to get the gloves and the boots, because not only do we need that, but it's like right above it is also like a little stripe of red. So we're going to get both of that done, and thinking of maybe using some red on the Banff cloud. So we'll see. So just to try to make something stand out a bit more, because the smoke color may not show up as much. So we're gonna try to do something about that. All right. So let's get this back on. Tilt you towards my area. Okay. So start off with the white. All right, let's get a nice brush, and we'll use this one. All right, so kind of try to get as close to the swords as possible without actually painting the swords. All right, gonna have to use this little method of mine to keep my hand steady. Okay. All right, so now when I'm done, I'm gonna go over the top of that with red, but I want to get all the white done first. Okay. So let's get the good place. Same thing with the boots. It's like right above the white is a stripe of red. I'm going to wait for all this to dry though before we get to that. Alright, let's try and very hard not to get any on his tail, and it looks like I failed. I can touch that up later. Alright. Okay. So for those of you who read X-Men comics, you can see Nightcrawler's starting to look very familiar. Okay. Alright. So we're going to let that dry, and we're going to work on Bishop a little bit. So Bishop, we're going to get to work on the hair, which shouldn't take long because it's not that big of an area. And you know, for those of you, like I said, who read, I'm always going to say that, you'll know that this is, I guess you can call it retro, because the way Bishop is drawn now, he is bald. So, but anyway, you know what, I don't even remember if they gave a bald head as an option to put on him instead. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that I put the model together. I just don't remember. Okay. All right, here we go. And as I'm sure anybody who's watched my other videos, you all know that that Bishop and Nightcrawler may turn up when John and I play Marvel Crisis Protocol. We're going to do a scenario of mutants versus Sentinels. Pretty much I thought of that as soon as I got the Sentinel pieces. I thought about doing that. Okay. Alright. I'm going to use the black on his boots as well, because on this base there is going to be a bit of blue used, and I'd like to distinguish between that blue and Bishop. Besides the black is showing up pretty darn good. To be his boots. It's showing up pretty good. Right, now, I will say this: if anything that I'm doing doesn't show up easy on the camera as I'm doing it, please put it in the comments so that I could try my best to correct that, because I am still experimenting with this camcorder I have. I'm not overly familiar with all the settings, but I am doing my best. Okay, so as you can see here, Bishop is coming out pretty good. I'm gonna grab the blue again and get because he shows on the box that he's got blue gloves on. So I'm gonna do that. Let's put the black away. Actually, do I need black for Nightcrawler? Actually, you know what? Before I do that, before I put it away, let's see. Black on Nightcrawler. Do I need for Nightcrawler's hair? Actually, yes, I do. Now that I think about it, I do need black for Nightcrawler's hair. This one's going to be quite a bit more delicate because, well, for one, this piece, the head is smaller on this piece. And I'm trying my darndest to not overdo it and have the black overpower the blue on Nightcrawler's head. And oh yeah, there we go. Looks a lot better. Okay, so we are now done with the black. Let's put this away. Or just put it aside for now. And I'm going to take out the blue again. Alright, now, which brush should we use? Let's use this one. Okay, now, this has got to be done very carefully. Because if I could avoid having to go over the purple again, I would like to. Okay. Sometimes I swear when I'm doing this, I feel like I'm in that commercial for the old game of Operation. You know, because I keep on hearing that one line saying, "It takes a very steady hand." Yeah. I'm sure some of you who are as old as me remember that game well. I remember basically it was a game where we just constantly electrocuted ourselves. Oh, look at that. I'm going to need the brown again anyway. Maybe even the purple too. So yeah, I always think of that whenever I'm doing something like this. Because I do remember when I was a kid, well, me and my friends, I mean, we didn't have, like, the internet and all this stuff that we could just look up and enjoy or whatever. We basically repeated commercials and cartoons, and we'd repeat them over and over again, pretty much reciting all of the lines. I can't tell you how many times me and my friends used to go back and forth saying, "Rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season." For those of you who remember the Looney Tunes. Yeah. But that's what we did when I was a kid. That's what we did. And we'd laugh and laugh, having a grand old time. I'm sure now a lot of you youngins out there would say, "Why the hell would you repeat cartoons and commercials? You could just watch them. You could just call them up on your phone." We didn't have phones back then. Back in the olden times, when dinosaurs walked the earth. Sometimes I tell my kids what it was like when I was a kid, and they look at me in disbelief. Yeah. Well, it's a sign of the times. All right, so I think I'm gonna, as far as the blue on the base for Bishop, I'm gonna stop there because the way they make it look on the box, it makes it look like he's standing like on a piece of a sentinel. So, which would be very appropriate to have him up against the Sentinels. Okay, so I might, when it's my turn to pick the mutants, I might just pick him and put him up against them, see what happens. So I think so for Bishop. Basically, what have we got left? Well, I got to take out the brown again. I got to do a little touch up here. See a little spot, maybe even with the purple. I don't know yet. But then we're gonna take like a metallic metallic color, and get the rest of this with that, and then hit the rest of this with a dark gray. That's what I'm going to do with that. So, Nightcrawler. What have I got with Nightcrawler? Oh, wait, actually with Nightcrawler, let's get the red. Let's get that red. All right, hold on. We're not done yet. Not done yet. At least not done with this part yet. All right, so let me put the blue away without actually dropping it, I hope. Let's get the red back out. I pretty much got the same brush I used for red, because the red just doesn't matter how much you clean it, the red will bleed through. All right, so let's get that stripe of red that I was talking about before. Yeah. Don't know if you guys can hear the birds chirping outside. Rest assured, if you do hear birds chirping, yes, it's coming from the video. You're not losing your mind. All right. Okay. Now, one video that I'm going to be making in the future, I'm just not sure when yet. There were some pieces I started painting before I started doing these videos. So there are going to be, well, I should say there is going to be possibly one video where I'm going to be finishing those pieces up. All right, now I'm going to put some red here on this. Yeah, I don't know if this Banff was optional. I put it in anyway, but I'm going to put some red over it. And try to spread it in amongst a lot of the what's supposed to be clouds. Yeah, I'm not going to put the red on the back of the Banff lettering. I'm just going to put it on the front. And I'm just going to put a little bit here, a little bit there. And then we're going to do more with that later. We're going to, when I put in the smoke coloring. Alright, okay, yeah. Let's see. Just get a little bit more here and there. Alright, so I'm going to go over that with that smoke color I was telling you about. And, oh, actually, before I do anything else, I forgot. On his tail, I had gotten some white paint on it, so let's touch that up. So it looks like I put the blue away a little prematurely. So let's get the blue back out. Alright. There we go. Oops. Almost dropped it. Alright. Okay, so now with Nightcrawler, we're going to get, I'm going to take out that smoke color I've been telling you about. It's just basically going to make a lot of this look a little bit darker. And, you know, like make it look like it's actual smoke. And then we're going to hit the base with the dark gray. And the only thing left with after that is the wash. Now, the wash and that smoke are probably going to look very, very similar. So, you know, we'll see how that all works out. But, you know, I mean, the wash on these pieces probably isn't going to show up too much because these pieces are already dark colors. I mean, the blue is, you know, is pretty dark right now. When you put the wash on it, it's going to, you know, it'll still give it that gritty look, but it's not going to, it may not stand out as much as if it were a light colored piece. So let's put him down. Now Bishop, with when I do the wash on him, it's going to be a mixed bag because you got, I mean, the skin tone is dark. You got the blue costume, which is a little bit dark, and then you got the yellow, which is going to stand out more. So, but before we take a break, let me get the little bit of touch up I need to do on Bishop. Let me do that now. All right. So let's put the blue away again. Let's take out the brown. Let's see what I do with the brown on it. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. All right. So let's just get this out. Let's get that little touch up done. Alright. Alright, that's enough. I don't think we need to take the purple out. There's like not really much to do there for that. Okay, so yeah, like I said with Bishop, we're going to make a lot of this look metallic. We're going to hit the base with a dark gray, and then we're going to do the wash. So we're going to take a break. So hold on a second. Let me put my paint away. Clean my brush. Alright. Take this off my face. And there we go. Alright, so we're going to take a little break. We're going to let all this dry so that we don't rub it off when we do more. And when we come back, we're going to do what I just said for each piece. We'll finish up the base, and then once all that's dry, it's just the wash and we're done. Alright, so stay tuned, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Paint's has been given some time to dry. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on Nightcrawler. I'm going to get that smoke effect in there. And then we're pretty much done with that piece, and then we'll work on Bishop. Alright, so let me get my nifty device on. Tilt this down to the work area. Okay, now let's get smoke out. And I'm going to apologize in advance because some kids just went outside to play. And I'm not going to be that cranky old man that tells them they can't. We had a guy like that around here, and he used to piss me off because, you know, he's basically constantly going after the guys and leaving the girls alone. Okay, so here we go. Alright. Get the... Now, I don't know how much of this is going to show up on camera, because these are dark colors on top of dark colors, so, you know. It's almost as if I'm doing a wash on it, with the way this works. You know, I mean, the smoke would definitely show up better if these were white clouds, but that's not how Nightcrawler teleports. Alright, and that's pretty much it. We're going to put a little bit on the Banff. I was going to try to avoid it, but I just decided, meh, I'm going to do it anyway. Let's get more up here. Okay. Alright, I'm not sure if it actually shows up good on camera, but got the smoke effect in there. We're just going to put that aside for now. We're going to put this away. Let's clean the brush. And let's see, what do we got left on Bishop? Okay, so one thing I'm going to do with Bishop that I pretty much decided during the break is on the inside of this ring here, I'm going to put a bit of red. So I'm thinking, let's do that now. All right, just to make it stand out a bit more, I guess, you know. Alright. And since we got a nice little trail of it up here, let's put it up in there, get a little bit more. Okay, alright, I'm not sure how much that shows up on camera. Honestly, I don't know if I'm holding it too close to the camera. Okay, so now we got that. And you know what? While I got this out, I'm going to make an attempt. Get a little bit, ever so slightly. And this is where that X is on his belt. If I get over it lightly, see what happens here. Oh, it's actually standing out a little bit. I don't know how well we can see it. I know it's very tiny, but it's actually gotten a little bit of, it actually stands a little bit. You can actually see the X now. So that's good. All right. So that's a nice pleasant surprise right there. A nice little from a last minute decision. All right. So let's get the red, put it away. And now we're gonna we're going to get to the base here, but first, before we get the regular base, let's get all of this. I took out a different metal color for this. This is quite a good question. What is this? Flat aluminum. There we go. Okay. Let's get a little bit here, a little bit there. Probably could have done a little bit more with the blue, but it's okay. Alright. Okay. Yeah, coming in a bit nicely here. All right. There we go. Look at that. Gives it a little shiny look. Nice and shiny, as they used to say on that show Firefly. All right. So now we got that. So here we're going to hit the base. Let's take out the dark gray. Okay. Now I know before I do the base I'll normally take a break, but I don't feel the need for that right now. So let's just get it done. Alright, just trying to get it as close to all this as possible. Alright. Oh, there we go. Okay. And these two pieces actually have been very easy on me, because normally my knee arthritis pain I have in my hands normally would be acting up a lot more, and I barely felt it this time, which is good. Oh, I itch my nose. Okay, just rotate ever so slightly. Okay, now don't know when this will appear on the channel, because like I said, tomorrow is Father's Day, and the whole week after that is a week for my work group to have overtime. So it might be a while before this comes out. Alright, let's see if I can get this on without rubbing more paint off. There we go. Okay. Alrighty, got the base on that. So let's bring out Nightcrawler again. And we'll get the base on this. And this is also why I like to do the base last, because as you can see with Nightcrawler, there is a ton on the base from all the other colors that I did, specifically the purple. Oh boy, I think I just rubbed some of the black off his head. If I do it from there, okay. Yeah, so that's why I like to do the base last, so this way all of this can be gone over, almost like you're sweeping it under the rug in a way. And there you go. Oh wait, a little bit more here. And there you go. All right. Oop, darn it. Yeah, looks like I gotta wipe it off my table now. Alrighty, so we got the bases done. Pretty much the whole pieces, the whole pieces. Pretty much the pieces are done. We're just gonna wait for all that paint to dry. And I'm gonna do the armor wash. Just give me a sec here. Alright. Okay, so like I said, the pieces are pretty much done. You just gotta wait for the paint to dry so we can do the armor, I keep calling it armor wash, so we can do the wash to get that, whatever needs to stand out, it'll get it to stand out. I just gotta try to use very, very little, and then it's all done. So stay tuned, we'll come back, we'll get that done, and you'll see the finished product. Alright, be right back. Alright, welcome back, and all the paint is now dry, and we're gonna do the wash. So let's just get to it. Let's get this on. Get you down to my workspace. Okay, well, this bottle is almost done, but I do have a new one that I haven't opened up yet, but let's just need a 2 drops in there. Let's see if that will do it. Alright, or at least if that'll do Bishop. Let's do Bishop first, since Bishop is a bigger piece. Try not to put too much, and let's just do light. Alright. Alright, so for the most part on Bishop, the wash may not show up much, but it's going to show up a lot, like down here on the base. And you'll see it more on the parts of Bishop that are yellow, and actually, yeah, the parts, the gun parts that are like a metallic color. Okay, and we're getting this in here nicely. Alright, let's get the base. I mean, generally these steps don't take all that long. And I actually need more than just, needed more of this stuff. Just one more drop. Notice it's got a big bubble in it. I gotta pop that bubble. Alright, so I can put quite a bit on the brush right now because we're doing the base. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's it for Bishop. And now Nightcrawler. Alright, same thing with Nightcrawler. For the most part, it's not going to really show up that much. As you can see now, well, you can see here it's showing up on the white, of course, because it's a lighter color. And once again, I need to put more in here. It's better to not have as much in the palette because I think you've seen so far what it looks like when I put too much. Alright, I don't really need much on the whole Banff cloud because when we did the smoke effect, pretty much was the same thing. Okay, the base, I was just going to touch up. Well, actually, it didn't really get the swords all that much. Okay, and that's it for Nightcrawler. Give me a sec here. Alright. So let's get them here. So as you can see, came out nicely, came out really nice. Bishop actually came out better than I thought he would. And Nightcrawler came out really nice. So either one of these might show up when we do Sentinels versus Mutants. I know I mentioned this a lot, but it's a scenario that I really am looking forward to doing. Let me take, whoops, I took off the wrong thing here. Okay, so we're all done. And as you can see, they came out pretty good. At least I think so. I mean, again, I always say, if you think you can do a better job, I would love to see pictures. Put them in the comments the comments section. I know in my first couple of videos that I didn't set it so that there could be comments, but in the last couple I did. I set it because I didn't realize that you had to actually set that, but now I know. So if you have pictures of similar of the same pieces or any other pieces from any other game, whether it be the Marvel Crisis Protocol game, whether it be BattleTech, whether it be anything, just feel free to share. I always love to see how other people do things, the way I look at it is that the only way it could be a bad job is if like I've seen it where people just spray primer and then just leave it and then that's it and it's all one color. I can remember one time I was playing the War Machine and Hordes. One guy came out, he put pink primer on everything and then left it. And I was like, I refuse to lose to the Pink Army, which I did, unfortunately. I actually did, and I lost badly, if I remember correctly. But yeah, but like I said, I would love to see what you come up with, and feel free. All right, so that's it for today on Kevin's Hobby. On Kev's Hobby Showcase, and I will be back again with more pieces to be painted. And coming soon, I will be doing more comic book reviews. As a matter of fact, coming up soon, within the next couple of weeks, I should be doing a review of Gang War, which did just recently finish. And Marvel has a current storyline going on called Blood Hunt. And when I've read all of that, I will do a review of that as well. And I might even come up with some older ones, some older stories. I might even do the original Secret Wars. I'm not sure yet, but stay tuned for all that. And any suggestions you might have, again, put in the comments. All right, have a great day, and I'll see you soon.